Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 9, part 2 of our course. Today, we will continue exploring innovation in education, focusing on its other aspects beyond the basic concepts we have already discussed. Innovation in education is not just about new technologies or teaching methods, it encompasses a wide range of changes in curricula, learning environments, teaching practices, and management approaches. As we will see, these innovations can have both positive and negative consequences affecting students, teachers, and the education system as a whole. In this micro lecture, we will examine how innovation can create stress at multiple levels for both teachers and students. The paradox of change, why not all innovations lead to development, and how poorly managed changes can generate new problems. International examples, including the British education system, where innovation is implemented thoughtfully to support learning and well-being. The challenges of bureaucratization and overload, which can limit the benefits of innovation and increase professional burnout. By the end of this session, you will gain a deeper understanding of how innovation, stress, communication, and educational management intersect, and how we can design learning environments that are both innovative and human-centered. Let's begin our exploration of these important aspects of innovation in education. As we know, innovation in education is essential in the 21st century. New teaching methods, technologies, and learning frameworks can greatly enhance educational outcomes. However, these innovations also create stress for both students and teachers. This stress manifests on three levels: personal, interpersonal, and organizational. Stress can occur both during the process of implementing innovations and as a result of their outcomes. It affects multiple dimensions of human well-being, including physical health, psychological stability, social relationships, and mental resilience. Naturally, this stress influences the academic performance of students and the professional effectiveness of teachers. Research in educational psychology identifies two main types of stressors in education: didactogenia and methodogenia. Didactogenia refers to stress arising from pedagogical errors or, in extreme cases, intentional harm caused by teachers. This might include poor lesson planning, unfair grading, or even negative teacher-student interactions. Methodogenia, on the other hand, refers to stress caused by students' behavior towards teachers, such as disrespect, lack of engagement, or negative attitudes that undermine the teacher's authority and well-being. Understanding these stresses is crucial for the 21st century education management. As future leaders and educators, we must design learning environments that support innovation while minimizing stress, ensuring both teachers and students can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. It is important to recognize that not all changes in education are genuine innovations that foster development. Many changes imposed from outside can be negative or even disruptive. In some educational contexts, innovation seems to happen by swinging from one extreme to another, attempting to correct existing mistakes but inadvertently creating new ones. This pattern is particularly observable in post-capitalist countries. Innovations in capitalist contexts often serve a pathological role. While designed to solve specific problems, they sometimes fail to achieve their goals and instead generate new challenges and stresses. The impact of such failed or poorly managed innovation is visible in the relationships between teachers and students. Teachers may express their dissatisfaction, frustration, or sense of powerlessness towards students. Conversely, students may react negatively toward teachers. This mutual stress becomes part of the educational culture. For example, in Kazakhstan and Russia, there are ongoing discussions about what teachers should or should not do in their professional lives, as well as debates around students' unnecessary items or excessive requirements. This raises a critical question: who is responsible for addressing these issues? Teachers, students, or parents? Often, instead of collaboratively solving educational problems, the key stakeholders avoid taking responsibility, which is a clear consequence of stress. This avoidance, in turn, generates even more stress. prompting teachers, students, and even university professors to leave educational institutions. Over time, this cycle contributes to the regression of the education system rather than its development. In 21st century education management, understanding this cycle is crucial. We must learn to implement meaningful innovation carefully, balancing change with the well-being of teachers and students to prevent stress-driven regressions. Let us now turn to modern education in Britain, which demonstrates how carefully managed innovation can enhance a country's global leadership in education. Two practices stand out as key innovations. First, Britain minimizes pointless debates about greenfields, new educational technologies, versus brownfields, old educational technologies. Instead, they focus on selecting the most effective and productive educational models and technologies, prioritizing practical outcomes rather than theoretical disputes. This reduces stress for teachers and students by providing clear guidance on what works. Second, all key actors in education are actively involved. Students and teachers are not passive participants. They develop as individuals, build meaningful relationships, and participate in learning within an environment of cooperation, respect, service, and creative exploration. This collaborative atmosphere addresses both didactogenic and methodogenic stress by fostering communication, mutual understanding, and shared responsibility. Psychologist Petrovskaya in Minigaleva's research from 2012 emphasizes that several educational traditions in Britain contribute to a favorable psychotherapeutic or healing learning environment. A practice-oriented approach which complements rather than replaces classical theory-based education, including some forms of contextual and problem-based learning. An activity-semantic approach integrating contextual and some programmed education methods that engage learners actively in meaningful tasks. A personality-centered approach based on self-realization, where education is designed to develop each individual's unique potential and autonomy.
These approaches demonstrate how innovation, thoughtful educational design, and inclusive participation reduce stress, enhance communication, and improve outcomes for both students and teachers. Britain's model shows us that innovation is most effective when it supports human development and well-being, rather than imposing change arbitrarily. Despite the promise of innovation, the unusual workload of teachers often leaves little or no room for creativity. Today, teachers are expected not only to teach and share knowledge, but also to write papers, develop curricula, prepare teaching materials, and submit both electronic and paper reports. This bureaucratization of education undermines the very purpose of learning. In such contexts, innovation does not benefit teachers or students. Instead, it often results in high levels of dissatisfaction, fatigue, and stress, eventually leading to early professional burnout.
According to Valeeva's study in 2019, as a consequence, educational innovations are often met with resistance. Teachers struggle to adapt, and students may also feel burdened or disengaged. Research shows that many teachers, whether in elementary, high school, or higher education, as well as students, require psychological support and counseling to cope with educational stress. This highlights an important lesson for 21st century education management. Innovations must be implemented thoughtfully, taking into account the workload, well-being, and communication needs of both teachers and students. Only then can innovation truly enhance learning rather than create additional stress. In summary, we see a paradox. Innovation is essential, but poorly managed innovation creates stress at every level of education. Stress arises from didactogenia and metatogenia, from bureaucracy, and from poorly planned changes. The experiences of post-capitalist countries illustrate how innovation without support leads to disengagement, conflict, and attrition. Conversely, the British model demonstrates that innovation is most effective when it minimizes stress, fosters collaboration, and supports human development. As educators and leaders, we must ensure that innovation is human-centered. reducing stress, enhancing communication, and allowing both teachers and students to thrive. Only then can 21st century education achieve its true purpose, the development of creative, competent, and resilient individuals. As we come to the end of today's micro-lecture, I would like to highlight some of the key references and sources that informed our discussion. These works provide further reading on innovation in education, educational stress, and effective management practices. I encourage you to explore these references to strengthen your understanding of the challenges and opportunities of innovation in education. They are valuable resources for anyone interested in improving educational outcomes while supporting the well-being of students and teachers. Thank you for your attention throughout this session. I hope this lecture has given you new perspectives on how innovation, communication, and stress management intersect in 21st century education.